Hello and welcome to the Sunday Night United stand. Jose Mourinho is planning big changes at Manchester United this summer. Big transfer changes in relation to the Manchester United squad. Probably bigger than what he said in January when the words to the effect of there won't be massive changes, I'm not going to make big changes to the attack or anything like that. Apparently that is all out the window, and this is not something we're reading to you from The Sun or the Daily Mirror. This is quotes from Gary Neville, a Manchester United legend, who on Friday night after the game said this. He said that Manchester United manager has had enough of some of these players. He's going to make some big changes in that changing room. It was so bad. It wasn't the fact that they played badly, their attitude was awful. He doesn't like some of those players. He's had enough of them. They were absolutely terrible. It's not good enough. They're wearing a Manchester United shirt and the standards have to be a lot better than that. And Gary Neville certainly believes that Manchester United will be making big changes this summer. We'll be talking amongst ourselves, and obviously I've got an opinion on who and what is out there and what that might mean. But it's also interesting, isn't it? Because straight after the game, as we've discussed, Jose Mourinho came out and said, well, you know, we've got this situation where, you know, I trust these players tonight who I don't normally play and they've let me down. Really, really interesting. I don't agree with any Manchester United manager coming and doing that. It's not something we're used to at Manchester United, and we've had it with Van Gaal and Mourinho now, where they come out and criticise current players. I don't like that. But you know what? Actually, are we being a little bit unfair on the players anyway? I mean, look at the weekend results. Manchester City drawing with Huddersfield at home, 0-0. You know, Man City, who can't stop scoring. Last game of the season at home. Obviously, it's not last game of the season, that's next week, but their last home game of the season. They'd want to put a display on. Can't beat Huddersfield because Huddersfield are fighting for their lives. Spurs, what did they do? Did they draw or lose? We obviously lost to Brighton, fighting for their lives. I've said this every year for the last 15 years. That, I don't know why I came out with 15. I'm a lot older than that. But I've said it for a long, long time. When it gets to this stage of the season and teams suddenly realise we might be going down to the Championship, and most of those players in their contracts will have wage cut 50% if you get relegated or something like that. It's amazing how these professional footballers suddenly start playing like their lives depend on it. And the percentage of their effort goes up, whereas your Man Cities, Uniteds, who haven't really got anything to play for, they're sort of dropping a bit. And it's not a surprise that these teams come through and get results. So I actually think that maybe the public berating of Manchester United players, which I didn't agree with anyway, I thought the tactics were poor on Friday night, was a little bit unfair anyway when you look at some of the results that everybody else has achieved. But what I do agree with, and it's interesting when Gary Neville says things, because I think he still does pick things up from the Manchester United dressing room, and he does, you know, say things that I think, you know, not always right, but I think when he's talking about stuff going on at United, he more than anybody probably has a good connection into the United dressing room. I think Mourinho has had enough of some players, and what he's going to look at to change this summer is going to be very interesting. We spoke about Milinkovic-Savic this morning and this £80 million fee that's meant to be agreed. There was another report tonight from his agent, who is Kesman, who used to play for Chelsea, that nothing's been agreed. But actually, when you read the quotes, he doesn't flatly deny it at all. He just says that there's still games left in the Italian season. That's all he's saying there. And Anthony says big news is that Anthony Martial is set to miss the final. I hadn't seen that myself, so whilst we're live, let's go and have a quick look, because I have not been aware of that. And there's nothing about it here either. Nah. Nothing in there, nothing in that. But, you know, in the context of who we might be looking at this season, I do think that Martial probably will get moved on. I do think that he probably isn't convinced by Marcus Rashford. I mean, I'm a big fan of Marcus Rashford, but he wasn't that great at the weekend, was he? And I think that Paul Robinson says, I'm sure some players have also had enough of Mourinho, but those opinions will never get aired. Yeah, I think that's a very good point from Paul. I don't really want to go down that route tonight. Maybe we can do that tomorrow night on the Skype show. But look, obviously, it's always going to be Mourinho, because Jose Mourinho is Manchester United manager. But I think there's certain players at Manchester United who might not be very happy. I still think Paul Pogba. I've got no source on this other than my eyes and what I see. And I don't think Paul Pogba looks very happy at Manchester United. And Paul Pogba's a very marketable icon in the world of football, and I'm not convinced Mourinho's happy with what he gets from Pogba. And actually, let's just dwell on Pogba for a minute. Are we getting what we should be getting from Pogba? No. Is Pogba getting what he should be getting from Manchester United? No. So that needs addressing. And what I mean there is that Pogba keeps getting put in midfields with Matic and Fellaini. That's not good for Paul Pogba. That's not good for Paul Pogba to be in a midfield three and be the only one who's got any speed, creativity. The other two are just, you know, bags of cement when it comes to being creative. I mean, Matic has a good season, but he's not a creator. So it's not great. I'm sure Pogba's not happy playing in a midfield three like that. There's a lot of pressure on him. He's got nobody really to share the load. But from Mourinho's point of view, he's not getting the creativity from Pogba. And from a Manchester United fan point of view, well, yeah, there's dynamics to this argument. But actually, are we getting the best out of Pogba? No, we're not. Should we be happy? No, we shouldn't. But who can we look at? Who could these big players be that we could make? And could it be big players or could it be big changes? My fear about big changes is that big changes means 4 or 5 or 6 signings, I think. And 4 or 5, 6 signings means, you know, they're not all going to be £100 million each. And I think that's what United need. So 4 or 5, 6 signings could be like what Van Gaal did, and they could be flops. So big changes for me means big signings. I think Manchester United need some leaders. They need some big characters in that team now. And I personally think that the board, if they're going to back Mourinho this summer, he needs probably 6 signings, because you go through that team and there are massive issues there. And as I said the other day, Mourinho talks about, oh, you know, I played these players and we lost against Brighton, but we lost to Huddersfield, we lost to Newcastle, we lost to Sevilla with his first team. We need 2 decent fullbacks for a start. We need a left back and a right back who are very, very good, and it would improve us massively. He needs to stick to a centre back partnership. He needs to bring at least 1 midfielder in, hopefully 2. And I think we do need an attacker now. I think you've got to be thinking, right, if Lukaku's my starter and I'm always going to play Sanchez, I need one other. I don't think Lingard's got the consistency to start. I think he's a good squad player. I think Rashford has dropped off quite a lot this season. And I think Martial, well, does he even trust Martial? I don't know. Daniel Anthony says Pulisic, number 10. I'll tell you what, I'll eat my hat and I'm not wearing one. So it's not going to happen. We're not going to sign Christian Pulisic. He's not even 20. Mourinho isn't even developing players that we've got around 22. He's not going to go and buy somebody now that needs developing. So Leon Bailey will probably go to Man City. Christian Pulisic will probably go to Liverpool. And that's sad, because it's not really, you know, United buying the next young stars is what we want. But I'll be very surprised if we went and got Pulisic or a Leon Bailey. I think, personally, we are looking at the big signing. I've selected a few. Neymar, Griezmann, Gareth Bale, Cristiano Ronaldo, and there was one other I put down as well. Yeah, Dybala. I think that 5, one of those 5 is probably going to be the big signing that we're going to make, because they're all experienced. I mean, Dybala's the youngest of those. Bale, obviously, experienced. Ronaldo, very experienced. Griezmann and Neymar. Now, everyone's going to say, well, you can't do that sort of a deal. You can't do that sort of deal. Well, this is what Gary Neville's talking about, I think. And I think this is what we talk about when we say a big signing. There's going to be fallout from Manchester United this summer. There'll be a fallout from Manchester United this summer. Now, I think in relation to the Mourinho out thing, I've always said that's pointless. He's not going anywhere. And obviously I'm Mourinho in, but I respect that a lot of people have had enough of him. It's wasted energy because he's not going anywhere. He will be here next season. So, and also I think with what's going on at Manchester United at the moment, and hopefully it's looking positive around Sir Alex Ferguson, but it's been a big jolt to us to realise that, you know, football's very important, but when something like this happens, it's not so important. And I think, you know, I've got no indication of where this is going to go, but I think it will be, you know, I think Sir Alex will be okay. I think he might be quite ill for a while, but I think he will get back. But I think what that's done is, I don't think United fans are going to be viciously against Mourinho any time between now and the start of next season anymore, because I think they've got other things to focus on. And, you know, actually we have finished second. We are in an FA Cup final. And above all that, we know Mourinho was never going to be sacked or moved on anyway. So I think we've all, you know, everyone just needs to put their focus on, obviously, Sir Alex getting better, but also Manchester United. You know, I think the focus moves away from Mourinho because we know he's going to be here next season, and it moves to the board. And this is interesting. You know, we've been doing this for 3 years, but any United fan who looks at it, you might be Mourinho out, you might be Mourinho in, you might not be so sure. But what will happen over the summer is Mourinho will go on holiday, and the focus and the frustration will move on to Ed Woodward. That's what happens in the transfer window. It's not Mourinho. Who would you rather let go, Rashford or Martial? Says THK165. Thanks for the contribution. I wouldn't like to lose either of them. I wouldn't like to use either of them. I think if I was forced to let one go, Rashford, because Martial's the better player. Dries Mertens for a 25 million release clause, says Zohail. We spoke about them this morning. He's 32 today, isn't he? Or 31 or 32 today. That doesn't make much sense to me. But yeah, the pressure will move on to Ed Woodward as soon as this season's over. And he will be the one, a bit like when Mourinho loses a game because of bad tactics and we're like, oh, why did you pick Fellaini, this, that and the other. That will leave Mourinho and it will move on to Ed Woodward. And this summer is going to be there's going to be a lot of frustration from United fans taking it into the summer anyway because of what's been left over from this season, how far we are away from Manchester City. So that's going to be the focus. And they've got to get it right this summer. They've got to get it right. There's a few factors to what could go wrong and what could go right. I mean, if other clubs do big signings and we don't, we're going to be like, they're just getting better and we're not. 55999 says this team's not got one player that would get in the 99 team. I don't think it has. I don't think it has at all, mate. I think you're spot on. I think we're a long way off. And just on that, I've called City all season. I've called him Fraudiola and everything like that. The season's over now. And one thing we know from Sir Alex Ferguson, and we've been taught by him, is that it's win and, you know, Manchester United over anything. And it's win, it's passion, it's desire. But when the season's over, you applaud those who finish above you. And Manchester City are more than worthy Premier League winners this season. It pains me to say that because they've absolutely annihilated this league. But they've played football I wish we could play half that sort of football. And they totally deserve to win the league. I don't put them anywhere near some of the Premier League greats, but they are definitely head and shoulders above us at this moment in time. And, you know, we've got to try and close that gap this summer. And I do think big signings need to be made. I think... Look, Fellaini will sign a new contract at some point. That's obviously not going to make us win the title next season. But if we can buy two really good midfielders that are going to push Matic and Pogba on, and if we can get another attacker in, because if you look at our front three at the moment, Sanchez will be better next season. I think we can all agree with that. Sorry, David Jones says, where's Sophie and Flex? It's bank holiday weekend in the UK. Flex is DJing tonight. Sophie's just played her last game of the season, so there's a drinks reception and everything like that. So they're not on. They will be back next week, but obviously they couldn't make it tonight. But you've made me lose my chain of thought there. So Hazard, Martial, yeah, that was what I was going to say. So Alexis Sanchez is a top class player, world class when he's on his best game. Is he on the decline? Arsenal fans seem to think he was on the decline. I just think we'll get a better Alexis Sanchez next season when he's had a full pre-season and he's used to the club. Lukaku, very good season and needs to keep improving. Those two are very reliable in our attack. Lingard is a bench player for me. I think he's great off the bench. Like the other night, he just gives some impetus, but I don't think he's good. I don't think you're going to win a title with Jesse Lingard starting every game. I really don't. But a great squad player, so I'd pull him off. Rashford, for some reason, absolutely love Rashford. Really struggling for consistency, but he's only 20, so time's on his side. Probably can't rely on him to start at the moment. Martial, I think whatever you think about him, he's not what Mourinho wants, and he needs to go and develop his career elsewhere. So that leaves us with Sanchez and Lukaku. We need to bring somebody else in. We need to bring somebody else in. And as I said, if it's going to be a big signing, Griezmann, let's start off with him. He's available this summer, Griezmann. And what I was really impressed with Griezmann is in the games against Arsenal, which were Premier League opposition, and especially the first leg when they were down to 10 men, I worried about Griezmann. I've always wanted Griezmann. I said he fits Manchester United like a glove, and he should be wearing the number 7 shirt. I don't know why that went wrong, but he fits us like a glove. I'd love him to still come to United, but I have had worries about his physicality, a bit like Mkhitaryan. I thought, oh, you know, is he going to struggle with the Premier League? I thought he did fantastically well in both those legs against the Premier League opposition. I think he'd be absolutely fine. I'd love to get Griezmann. I think he would be brilliant for us. Neymar would be massive. I'd be concerned about Neymar, and I'd be a hypocrite to say that, look, I think he's Neymar FC is up his own arse. But so's Jose Mourinho. You know, let's be honest. I love Jose Mourinho, but he's up his own arse. He's probably short term, and I think Neymar would be as well. The thing about Neymar is Neymar, Sanchez, Lukaku. It's not a bad front three, is it? I think we could pull that deal off. I'm not saying any of these are likely. I mean, I'm just saying when talking about big changes in the Manchester United dressing room, and I think we do need that. And I do think we need an attacker. I mean, I throw that to you lot as well. some people think that Jose Mourinho is not going to sign an attacker. I think we do need to sign an attacker. And I think that attacker needs to be creme de la month. Absolutely A-class, top shelf. You know, they do need to be that. So Neymar, you know, if he comes and he's here for a year or two, but he scores 60 goals, happy days, I suppose. My mentality has changed a lot towards United over the last few days for various reasons, but mainly taking the emotion out of what's gone on with Sir Alex. That, look, Friday night was a wake-up call. I'm a massive Anthony Martial fan. I'm a massive Marcus Rashford fan. I think next season maybe Marcus Rashford does go on loan, Anthony Martial gets sold, and they go off and do what I believe they can do, which is develop and become fantastic players. But they're not for Jose. He doesn't want them. So Mourinho and Manchester United need to go out and buy an attacker to play with Sanchez and Lukaku, who isn't Lingard. You know, Lingard needs to be coming off the bench, fantastic player off the bench, but we need a front three that is going to frighten Manchester City. And you look at Man City and what they've got, they're not going to be scared of Sanchez, Lukaku and Lingard. But if we've got Sanchez, Lukaku and Neymar or Griezmann or Bale, you know, or whoever, you know, I think Griezmann, great player, probably lacks a bit of pace. Neymar, out for himself, but he's world class. Bale, injury prone, but can be world class. And then, well, let's talk about Bale for a moment. I mean, Bale, I don't see how he stays at Real Madrid. He can't even get in their first team at the moment. And my only concern about Bale is his fitness, and I think that's a major problem. I'll be very, very worried about it. But as I said, I mean, was it a week ago I said I wouldn't want Neymar near Manchester United? But those were in my Martial's got to stay days, and I love Anthony Martial, but I think Mourinho's got to be given the third year, and he's got to be given what he needs in that third year. And if it's Bale, isn't it? I think it's a risk. But what I feel like as a United fan now is I've got my opinion, and Fellaini should be got rid of, and Martial should be kept, but that's my opinion. Mourinho's got a different opinion to me. You know, he wants Fellaini to stay. He doesn't like picking Martial. So we're not going to agree on that, are we? But I do agree on, he's Manchester United manager, and I want him to do whatever his plan is and be backed to do whatever his plan is, because ultimately, if it means we're Premier League title winners next season, I'm happy. That's what I want. I want us to win the title. Robert Farr, he says, Martial is your favourite player, same as myself, yet you're still Mourinho in. Would that still be the same if he was selling Roy Keane in his prime? No, I think there are limitations, aren't there? And I think if Jose Mourinho was selling Roy Keane in his prime, Paul Scholes in his prime, Ryan Giggs in his prime, Beckham in his prime, you know, many other players in their prime, Vidic, Cantona, whatever, then we'd have big problems. The reality is the Martial things, I know he can be a fantastic player, and I know he has been a fantastic player, but he's not there yet. And I think people judge him unfairly. He's not there yet. He needs development, and he's not going to get it here, I don't think. So Bale, we've discussed. Dybala is interesting. The only reason I think Dybala won't happen is because I think Pogba's the big pull there, and I'm not sure Pogba's happy at United. So Dybala is a good player. I'll tell you what, Dybala worries me a little bit because I'm not 100% convinced that he would cut it in the Premier League. I think Griezmann, Neymar, Bale are better options than Dybala, and you'd probably get two of those cheaper than Dybala. Griezmann and Bale you'd get cheaper. So Dybala's a great player. I really do like him, but there's something about him that makes me worry that he might not do well in the Premier League because of the pace of it. Kennedy Arthur, which player would you buy to be United captain? Yeah, we'll answer that in a minute. And then finally Ronaldo. Look, oh God, Ronaldo's tweet about Sir Alex Ferguson just had me almost in tears. That relationship. I love Ronaldo. I absolutely love Ronaldo. I remember where I was. The season had ended. We'd lost the cup final, the Champions League, and he'd said just before it that he wasn't going to leave and he was going to stay. And he obviously, we just arrived in Cornwall. We'd rented a house out. We just arrived in Cornwall, and I got a text message because obviously this was it 10 years ago? It was 2008. Ronaldo left, wasn't it? After no, it wasn't the 2008. Because we won that one. It was a 2009 after Rome, wasn't it? Ronaldo left. And got a text off a mate saying Ronaldo's gone. Turned the telly on, he's gone. I was absolutely gutted. Absolutely gutted. And I knew he wanted to go to Real Madrid, but I was absolutely gutted. For me, my opinion on Ronaldo is 100% Manchester United legend. I've never seen a player do what he did in the Premier League single-handedly. The closest is probably what Salah's done this season, but Salah's had a really, a good attack around him. And Ronaldo did have a good attack around him. But the amount of individual goals he scored from the wing. Salah isn't really been a winger for Liverpool this season. He plays up front and quite central a lot. If you watched him against Chelsea today, he's up on the edge of the box, very central a lot of the time. Ronaldo for United was out on the wing and scoring all those goals. He was fantastic. And actually, Salah's not even fit to lace Ronaldo's boots or Messi's. They're just different talents. I absolutely love Ronaldo. And I tell you what, sentimentality, I'd love him back anyway. But especially of what's gone on with Sir Alex, I would just cry. If Ronaldo came back, I would love it. I would have him back now. I'd love him to come back. I'd love him to come back to our club. How we deal with Mourinho is probably a problem, but Ronaldo back at Manchester United would just restore my faith. Especially if Martial does leave, I think Ronaldo. It won't happen. It's not going to happen. I'm just giving you my thoughts here. But I would be so happy to have Ronaldo back at Manchester United. So happy. Steve Tetelman says, can't sleep. Liverpool in the Champions final. Help me, Mark. It was 2009. Thanks, Draughty. Yeah, thought so. We were talking about this the other day. Memory like a sieve. All the tributes to Fergie have been incredible, says Lynn Hall. Yep, and so proud he was our manager. Yeah. Maybe that's... I mean, what do you lot think? I would absolutely love Ronaldo to come back to United. I know he's, 33 now, but he has got a body of a 24-year-old. And... yeah, definitely a United legend. So, I mean, look, if we're going to sign a big player, and I think if we let Martial go, we can't go into next season. I don't think. I mean, let me know. I don't think we can go into next season with Sanchez, Lukaku, Lingard, Martial, and Rashford. I think it's been proved. Let's be fair to Jose. It's been proved we're not getting the best out of those 5 players, and one of them's got to go. And one of them's got to take a back seat unless they really improve. That 5, Sanchez, Lukaku, Lingard, Martial, Rashford, it's not good enough to beat City next season. Let's be totally honest. And I'm a massive fan of Martial and Rashford, but that's not a front 5 to win a Premier League title. It isn't. Let's be, we've got to be blunt. And I think these conversations will be going on at board level with the manager at Manchester United. And I think Jose's got to say, look, they might be young players. They might be what Manchester United's all about. But I've signed Sanchez and Lukaku. They're my experienced ones. I'm not getting rid of them. Lingard's proved himself to me. I'm not getting rid of him. Rashford and Martial are the ones in danger. And if he says they're not good enough, then we've got to go and get somebody who is. We're Manchester United. And I wouldn't be surprised. Man City are going to buy another attacker this season as well. This close season, they're going to sign another... an attacker, because they wanted Sanchez, they wanted Mahrez. They'll go and get somebody. If they get Leon Bailey, we're in trouble. He will hit the ground running literally in this league. They'll have Bailey, Sane, Sterling, De Bruyne, Aguero, Jesus, Silva, that, and they've already done it once and they'll do it again. I'm sorry, Lukaku, Rashford, Martial, Lingard, Sanchez, it's not good enough compared to that. It really isn't. And what are Liverpool going to add? They've already got Mane, Salah, Firmino. They might get somebody else in. Chelsea are going to spend money. We need. I think the big signing has got to be Neymar, Bale, Griezmann, Ronaldo, or Dybala. One of those 5. And I thought about this. I was going to do this show last night, but obviously we had to put it back. But if you can give me, in the live comments, anybody else other than those 5, I think it's got to be one of those. And I think we're at that point now where we can go on about, it's ridiculous to sell Martial or whatever. And it is. But Jose's nailed his flag to the mast on that. And he is the manager of Manchester United. And he must be given year 3. He must be given year 3. And he wins a title everywhere he goes. The club... it's moving away from Mourinho for me, like I said now. It's moving towards Woodward. It's moving towards the board. They've got to back him this summer. We can't have another, we're not going to pay 50 million for Perisic. We've got to give him what he needs. And what he needs, the exciting element about this, what Mourinho needs to topple City isn't just a midfielder and a left back. It's more than that. We need 2 midfielders, a left back. If Umtiti's available, get him. And I think we need a top open your mouth attacker, and you've got to go Sanchez, open your mouth attacker, and Lukaku. Lingard on the bench, Rashford on the bench, Martial goes. That's what's going to happen. It's not what I would do, but that's what's going to happen, because the only way United supporters are going to swallow what's going to happen with Martial if he goes is Ronaldo, Neymar, Griezmann, Dybala or Bale. One of those 5. And that might not even work in itself, but it will be enough to make people think we're going for it. And we've got to go for it next year. You know, you snooze, you lose. What are we waiting for? Let's go for it. Biosphere, I'm 24. I've got nobody like Ronaldo, man. Maybe you were the 24 they were comparing to. Lewandowski, says Aaron Eyes. Well, the trouble with Lewandowski is, and I did think about him, he play where Lukaku is. So Lukaku's always going to be the number 9. Sanchez is probably going to play off the left or off the right. But we need somebody to play off that with them. Griezmann can do it. Bale can do it. Ronaldo can do it. Neymar can do it. Dybala can do it. Is there anybody else who can do it? And forget anybody under 22. Forget anybody under 22. Because actually it'd be massively hypocritical to let Martial go and then bring in somebody who's 18, 19, 20, 21. Because they're still going to... The trouble with Martial, with Mourinho, is he doesn't want to develop him. Because he's got to get results now. And that's what Mourinho's always been about. So anybody you've got in your mind who needs development, i.e. Pulisic, Leon Bailey, Mourinho ain't going to bring them in. Because he needs ready-made players now that he can trust. Benzema's a number 9. Thomas Bennett. Morez, says Jake Wilders. Well, there is a lower level of people. There is the next stage down. That if Martial goes, he might just go for somebody who's experienced in the Premier League, sort of 27 to 32, short-term game, but they're the complete thing. Morez is a good point. I mean, is that big enough? Is Martial going for Morez big enough? Not for me. But Willian is another one as well. Willian, you might go back in for Perisic. Dries Martins at Napoli, 31 I think today, 32 today. He might go back in for Perisic, 29 now. Willian, and as was said there, maybe Morez. And Immobile, says Liam Collins, well, he's another striker as well. I don't think we're going to go for a striker because I think he's going to go Lukaku with Rashford as his backup. Remember to drop a like on the video, please. Thanks everybody who's watching tonight. I know El Clasico is on. It's on That's Football as well. We've got a watch along with Xander, so pop over there and watch that. But I want to take some of your comments because it is Sunday Night Live. Marco Reus, fast, past and young. I mean, Marco Reus is a fantastic player, but he's injury prone. He's a bit like Bale. Anthony Martial is much better than Lukaku. Lukaku isn't at an elite level. Look, that guy. You know what, that guy? I'm always honest with you lot, and I really like Anthony Martial. I really, really do. But I'm past it now. What I think, I said it last night. 3 things. It's best for him. It's best for Mourinho, and he's not going to develop here. So he's got to go. He's got to go. And whether it's Chelsea, I hope it's not a Premier League club, by the way, or Juventus, wherever he is next season, I'll watch him. Because I think he's a fantastic player. And I'm proud that we've had him at this club. And I wish him all the best. And I wish Luke Shaw all the best. And I hope they go on and be absolutely top-class players that I agree they can be. But I've lost that frustration and aggression about it now. Because we've got a manager and he must make his choices. And if they end up being mistakes, we've all said it. But if they end up being right, that's what's best for Manchester United, isn't it? Bale, says Moha. Pereira is an interesting one, Elliot Holman. I'd love to see Pereira work out. Big fan of Pereira. I've been saying it for 3 years. Icardi, says Pankaj. I'd love Icardi at Manchester United. I really, really would. The great thing about Icardi is this time last season when we knew we needed a number 9 because of Zlatan, Icardi was the one I wanted. I watch a lot of Italian football. He's aggressive. He's passionate. He's brilliant in the box. I wanted Icardi. We didn't get him. We got Lukaku. And Icardi's gone on and had an absolutely amazing season for Inter Milan. I think he'll end up at Real Madrid or something like that. He's fantastic. I would be absolutely ecstatic if we got Icardi. I think he's a fantastic player. But we won't get him because we aren't going to sign a number 9 of that quality when we've got Lukaku. Blue Eyes White Jager says Lukaku and Rashford is not good enough to win the league. We need Icardi. Well, there you go. Thanks for the contribution, pal. James Rodriguez, Gene Chris. Mwah! Fantastic. What a comment. James Rodriguez, wand of a left foot. Would love him at Manchester United. I think he'd be brilliant. I think he would be absolutely brilliant. I would love Rodriguez to come to Manchester United. Yes, definitely. 100%, definitely. Rob V says Timo Werner, too young, mate. He falls into the category of Leon Bailey, Irving Lozano, and Pulisic. Irving Lozano is 22. and a client of Mino Raiola. I'll just throw that out there. Draxler, says Maghab. I mean, what sort of season is Draxler having this season? I've not heard anything about him. Good player. Yeah, Draxler's a possibility. Savic from Lazio takes care of himself. Hopefully he's a midfielder. We're talking that front three. Somebody's got to come in and play with Sanchez and Lukaku if Martial goes. Bale and Umtiti fighting in El Clasico, says Daniel. And Lingard isn't world class, says Anthony. Rodriguez has got the creativity we lack, and he can cross. J. They're great. The thing Manchester United need is somebody who can take a free kick and somebody who can cross. I mean, Marcus Rashford on corners and free kicks is infuriating. And I'm a big fan of Rashford, but he can't take corners and he can't take free kicks. I know he scored that good one, but Asensio, ridiculous, won't happen. I'm sorry, Salim, it won't happen. Pjanic, Zach Starr as a midfielder, maybe. Mourinho is going to sell out all of our youth talent and leaves the club or gets fired. We've still got a lot of young talent coming through. Tahith Chong, Angel Gomez, they're not going to be ready next season, but there is young talent for when and if Jose moves on. I just think it's not going to work well for Martial and Shaw. Lamar, so Lewis Goff. The thing about Lamar and Malcolm is they're the same age as Martial. Both playing in France at the moment. They're the same age as Martial, and Martial's better than Lamar, and he's better than Malcolm. So why would you let Martial go to replace them with 22-year-olds who aren't as good? So I can't see them happening, but Lamar will move. Ian Robbins too old. Martial was good until January. Why has he gone so bad? I think everybody knows why. Hazard, rumours says he might leave Chelsea, take more Chelsea talent. I don't think him and Jose get on that well, Brennan Bates, but you know, obviously I think Hazard with Sanchez and Lukaku would be a nice front three. Dembele, Usman Dembele, probably too young, needs too much development for Jose. Willian, Jack, I think Mourinho would love Willian. I'd be terrified if we brought Willian to Manchester United and Chelsea got Martial. They'd be getting the better deal. That would absolutely terrify me. Because I tell you what, if Martial goes to Chelsea and they play him every week, he'll have a few bad games, but Leroy Sané I think is absolutely fantastic. And if you've watched Man City over recent weeks, especially the games against Liverpool, he was absolutely rubbish. But Pep doesn't say, this is why I don't pick you, I've got somebody else, you're on the bench. He doesn't. He says, I believe in you, you play him the next game. Mourinho's got a different approach to developing players to what other people do. Martial needs to play every game. I've always said it about Martial and Rashford. They need 10 games. They need 10 games. And if they have 3 or 4 bad games, you stick with them. Give them 10 games of 90 minutes and then see where you are. That's what development is. Development, I think people have forgotten what development is. Development isn't chucking in a young talent and expecting them to be Messi or Ronaldo every week. Development is letting them take steps forward. One game they'll be brilliant, the next one they might go missing, but it's giving them that consistency. That's development. And I don't think Jose has ever done that in his career. And I certainly don't feel he's got the time to do that at United because he's a 3-year plan man. I would love Griezmann and Dybala. I don't think Griezmann will come to United, but I would like Griezmann at United. Griezmann, Sanchez and Lukaku would really excite me. I know a lot of people will be thinking what I'm thinking there. Well, where's the pace? Because Sanchez isn't massively fast. Griezmann's not massively fast. And they're not giving natural width. But this is where it would be solved if we bought 2 fullbacks who can actually get forward and provide balance. So Alexandra on the left back position, and I know it's going to be Valencia next year, isn't it? But we need fullbacks who can actually put crosses into the box. I love the comment about James Rodriguez. I'd be really interested in James Rodriguez coming up. I've nearly finished. But if you drop a like on the video and we go past 400 likes, I'll stay for a little bit longer. Lynn Hall says exactly 10 games, not 1 or 2. Jose has never given young players that long, especially forwards. But that's through his whole career, Lynn. I mean, I do defend Jose a lot, but I did say this. Remember the video when Mourinho was announced as manager, and I was really excited. But I did say in that video, look, don't expect him to play youth. Don't expect us to play great football, but do expect us to win a title, and that's what's important. And that's come to pass. Unfortunately, we haven't got the title yet. We've not really seen much youth played, and we have not really seen as much good football as we would like. But we've certainly, hopefully we will get that title delivered. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new. We went past 220,000 subscribers today, which is fantastic. I must just shout out a couple of things as well. Would I want Raphael back, says Biosphere. I think he's a bit old now. And the second thing is, what was the second thing I was going to say? First of all, it's bank holiday weekend in the UK. So we're doing Transfer Daily at 7 AM UK time, Monday to Friday. But tomorrow's bank holiday Monday, so it's a bit like a Saturday or a Sunday for us. So it won't be going up at 7 AM. I'm going to do it live. I'm going to do it live tomorrow at 10 AM. So 10 AM live tomorrow. If you're at work in America or anywhere else in the world, 10 AM UK time tomorrow. Pop in the toilets, pretend you smoke, go and get a coffee, get your phone on. I'm live at 10 o'clock tomorrow with Transfer Daily. And then Tuesday it's back normal 7 AM because everyone's back to work then. And we have got the Skype show tomorrow night at 8 PM. Don't even care who we sign. Jose will destroy them anyway, says Red Jedi. Icardi, Dybala, Icardi and Lingard, says Jam. And who had the... Look, if I was in charge of United, just very, very quickly, because a lot of people are mentioning Icardi. If I was in charge of United, my front three for next season, presuming that Martial does go, it's got to be Sanchez. I'd sell Lukaku, get Icardi, and I'd bring in James Rodriguez. Yeah, and that would be my front three. Rodriguez, Icardi and Sanchez would be my front three. Obviously, if I was manager of Manchester United, Martial wouldn't be going anywhere anyway. I'd shift Sanchez to the right. Martial would play on the left for at least 10 games, and I'd still bring Icardi in up front. I think the thing with Lukaku that still concerns me a little bit is that we've been nowhere near a title. In a proper title race, would those Lukaku misses and bad touch really hurt us? Would the pressure hurt Lukaku? We haven't seen that yet because we've not been in a title race for years. And also, the most telling thing about Lukaku is his best assist this season was a terrible first touch. You know, it was that one in the FA Cup semi-final against Spurs that Herrera hit home, and that was a bad first touch. So I think the jury's out on whether we can win a title with Lukaku. I think he's had a great season, but would the misses and the bad first touch, when the pressure's on at the back end of the season, has he got that? And that was always the question mark about him. But he's been a really good signing for us. But if I could have my way, I think Icardi would be perfect for United. But that's not going to happen, and I'm more than happy with Lukaku, and I think he'll score goals for us next season. He's got a fantastic cross on him. You're right, Cal Davis. He has. He's got an absolutely fantastic cross. You've got me. The same thing happened to me this time last year about James Rodriguez. I think he'd be bloody brilliant at United. I really do. He's got such a wonderful left foot, and his creativity would be absolutely superb for us. But I don't think it's going to happen, is it? He's got a 2-year loan at Bayern Munich, and he's been very, very good there. But same agent as Jose Mourinho. A few people saying too harsh on Lukaku and Webman. Look, we're having a little bit of an end of show chat. We're talking dream here. So you're telling me if you can have your dream, if you're manager of Manchester United and you're told to win the title next year, and within reason you've got money to spend, you're going to go with Lukaku up front next season. Well, we are going to go with Lukaku up front next season. I'm very happy with what Lukaku's done. My concern with United, and it's a big jump to even have this conversation because we've been nowhere near a title for 5 years. When we're in the heat of a title race next season, let's hope, fingers crossed, and we're hitting March and we're grinding out results, is Lukaku going to score us the goals? He's never been in a title race either. Until it happens, we don't know. And I think he gets played too much by Mourinho anyway. But no, if I could have my way, I think Icardi's the best number 9 in the world at the moment, beyond what Real Madrid and Barcelona have got. But I think Icardi would be fantastic in the Premier League. He's got that raw aggression. I think he'd be perfect for United. If he goes to Chelsea and Martial goes to Chelsea, they're going to be an interesting team to watch next season. I'm going to be really, really annoyed because Martial's arguably my favourite player anyway, and Icardi is just a fantastic number 9. So if Chelsea get those two, God, dear me. Although I thought Chelsea were dreadful today. I know they beat Liverpool, but they were dreadful. Mbappe, says THK165. Very good player. Very good player. Mourinho will probably sign Ian Robbins, says Christian. Good. Douglas Costa is the one, says Christian. A jury. Very inconsistent. Good player, but there's a few people mentioning Costa in the live comments. And Zaha, says Liam Collins. He's not better than Martial, Wilfried Zaha. Jay says, I'll never understand the Mbappe hype. The thing is, you go and play for PSG, and I lose a lot of respect for players because I know how bad that league is. So unless you show it in the Champions League, which he didn't, you need to be playing in the... If you're a top player, you need to be playing in the top leagues, and Mbappe isn't doing that. Shaqiri from Stoke says, Rahul, not for me. A lot, he could just get mentioned a lot. Magahab would love Mahrez. Again, I'm not totally conversed. And Ian Curran says, Sanchez is a world-class player. He can play on both wings and play Martial on the left. He should be playing off the right a little bit more. You should get more interchanging, really. Swapping over. That's what we should be doing. Used to do it quite a lot under Sir Alex. We used to swap the wingers quite a lot. Nani would swap. Ronaldo would swap. Used to do it quite a lot. We can only bring in players who don't mind finishing third or below, says Devil's Ace. Come on. We want a big summer this summer. That's what we need. Anyway, I'm going to go and watch a bit of El Clasico. It's live stream watch along on That's Football. If you've not subscribed to the channel or you don't watch it, when you're finished here, type That's Football, go to the live stream. Xander is actually in Madrid and he's doing a live stream watch along for that game. So I'm going to click over there, get in the live comments and interact with a few of you there. Thanks for everyone who's dropped a like on the video and get commenting below. Come back and give us your thoughts. What do we need to do? Assuming Martial goes, who comes in? Because for me, it's got to be Neymar, Bale, Ronaldo, Dybala, Griezmann, or brilliant from you lot, Rodriguez. One of those six. If Martial goes, it's got to be one of those six. I don't want to go second tier with Willian, Perisic, Mahrez, and whoever else. I want one of those top six players. It's got to be one of those, and we've got to go big. And they've got to back him, and the board have got to back Mourinho. And let's go big, and let's get some confidence. Because if Martial goes and you bring Mahrez in, are we going to think we're going to win the title next season? No, we're not. We're not. We'll go, it's a good signing. Some people say it's a good signing. Some people will say, I can't believe we've done it. But we're not going to think that's enough to win a title. If we bring in, if Martial goes and we bring Bale, Griezmann, Dybala, Ronaldo, or Rodriguez, or Neymar in, we're going to go, bloody hell. And a couple of midfielders and a left back, we're going to go, you know what? It's going to be tough, but, you know, Sanchez, Lukaku, and one of those, yeah, we might be able to do it. Remember, we're live tomorrow at 10 AM UK time with Football Daily. And I'll see you on That's Football in a minute for the El Clasico. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.